like you really can't find places like Carmel, like, I don't know, it's so safe and like the suburbs and like it's cool. It's like becoming cooler now. So I'm Emy DiBenigno, go by Emy. So I started in Carmel when I was, oh my goodness, 8 and under is when I started. And yeah, I've always been at Carmel since 8 and under to when I graduated in 2008 from Carmel High School. So that's how long I've been at Carmel. So swimming that whole time. Yeah, so right now I'm in San Diego, California. So a lot of outdoor swimming pools, which is really nice. And professionally, I work at UCSD. I'm in HR, so I'm a senior HR manager here for the university. So yeah, it's been great.
Wonderful.
So I started swimming when I was 4, and the reason why I started swimming so young was because I just did whatever my brother and sister did because I was the youngest. Just like wanted to get rid of me. So I just like got thrown in the water at a young age, and I loved it. Like it was impossible to get me out of the water. I just had like a natural kind of like ability at a young age, I guess, to swim. And I started kind of like in that 6 and under age group. I guess that's a thing. I don't know if it's still a thing. But I started swimming like at a country club level, and I would win all the time because I started like so young. So when I hit 6 years old, I was like at the top of my age group. And I just remember that was like the coolest thing ever, was like being able to like win your races. And from that young, I was just hooked. Like I did whatever it could to win high point or whatever, because I was
just a little competitive.
A little competitive. And then I was just, I just like thrived in that kind of like environment. And never once did I question, like, am I going to quit? Yeah, maybe in high school a couple of times because it's super hard. But it's just always been super fun for me. And yeah, I just remember like never forgetting just loving to swim and race, especially at such a young age. It was just so fun.
There was a true joy in it for you.
Yeah, super true joy. I loved it.
Wonderful.
So we lived in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and my dad had a job opportunity in Indianapolis. And so we had choices on like where we could like land. And we chose Carmel for swimming. It wasn't for me in particular because I was 8 and under, but it was for my sister.
Sure.
She's 8 years older, so she was going into high school, and they had like, we just knew about the program. So we actually moved for Carmel swimming in a sense, like on where we landed geographically in Indiana. And I'm so glad we did. I think it's just, if you want to be great at something, you might as well go to the place that's already great, and Carmel Swim Club will do that for you. I think it gives you an opportunity to shine because you have those, like, I don't know how it is right now, but I remember having like Stingray group and all those different groups. Yeah. So you're not like fighting to be noticed in a sense. Like you have that correct age group for where your skill level is at, which I think is important. So Carmel swimming is the hardest swimming ever. And hard meaning like, just like, I was thinking about it, and you need to wake up early, like in the 4s. I remember waking up for the 4s. And you swim, and then you go to school for 6 hours or however long school is. You can't like nap.
No naps.
And then right after school, you have to swim. And then you're starving like throughout that whole process. And then, so I remember being like, oh my gosh, college is going to be so much harder, right? You would just think like the next level up.
Sure.
But it is not. It was like, I remember getting to college and being like, oh, this is awesome. Like I can nap because like you have like only 3 classes a day.
Yep.
And I had energy, and your only focus, like, and for I went to Mizzou, and the only focus there was like your specialty. So I focused on breaststroke and IM, and that's it. So I didn't have to do distance-free practice, like 4-stroke practice. So I was like, okay, I got this. But then when thinking about it, like all of my memories like stem from Carmel. I think they kind of like instilled in me at a young age, like excellence. And like, I remember at Mizzou, for example, we lost like our first dual meet, and I was like freaking out, you know, it's like, come on, like we can't lose. And people were like so chill about it. And I was just like confused.
Yes, this hasn't happened to me before.
That
Hold
would
on.
not happen. So I think it was just that like, that feeling of being a part of something bigger was really Carmel swimming. And how hard you have to work and how hard practice is. It's just really a sense of accomplishment there, and just really having that strong work ethic to continue throughout is kind of what Carmel swimming taught me.
So you would say that work ethic that you developed here at Carmel, you're still carrying through that value of that today in your life? Oh
my goodness, yes. Like, I think sports in general, but especially swimming, I don't think people realize like how demanding it is. Like, you have friends like in college that would be like, and I'm not trying to lowball other sports because surely it's hard in other ways, but they're like complaining and they only practice like 6 months out of the year.
Right.
Like, swimming, I get like 1 week off and I feel like Jello in the water if you do. So it's like, I don't think people realize like how demanding the sport is. So you have to be able to like manage your day, manage your time, manage your schoolwork, manage your friends, manage your life throughout that. And having a strong work ethic will just help within that process. So I think Carmel kind of started that for me. And then in college, I was able to kind of like drill down more into that because I'm tired. So I really just like dove in, and I would say like was super strong in like practice wise. Like, I tried so much harder in a sense because I had all this energy.
Yeah.
And then kind of just continued into where I'm at now, like with my work, and just like having time and focus on one thing is, I think, really cool. And now I can focus all on work and just like my personal life, and I work out somewhat, but not like I ever will.
Yeah.
But especially in high school, I think just like be kind to yourself. I think a lot of high school swimmers, especially I'm speaking for myself, that was like a really hard time, just like personally. It is kind of funny how you, like in high school, even though you might think you're super mature and you're like the best thing ever, you grow so much more in college and throughout your life. So I just wish I could tell myself, like in high school, like it's gonna be okay.
Yes.
Like, just be kind to yourself. Like, if you break up with somebody, it's definitely not the end of the world. You will find somebody better. Because I think in high school, like everything's just like magnified, and you just think it's important thing ever. And I can't even imagine how they do it with social media. Like, I like cringe at the thought of having what they have now when I was in high school.
Yeah.
So I think just be kind to yourself and others, and know that it can get better if you're feeling kind of like dull about your life or you have something crazy happen. And I think swimming will help with that, honestly, because if I didn't have swimming, I have no idea if I would have gone to college or like all these crazy things, because I think it just kept me in line as like as an individual. So like the best feeling in the whole entire world is when you're a high school swimmer, if you make it. And I know it's super competitive now, especially like to make it top 3 or whatever it is, to be on like the team or whatever that goes to state. But if you get there, and hopefully work hard enough to get there, and if you make it top 8 and you are getting paraded out, and you turn that corner and you see like all the Carmel fans like get up, it was like, I can't even describe that feeling. Like, you'll never get that feeling ever again in swimming. Like, I was like, oh, this is not every meet. Like, it's not.
No.
Like the biggest championship meets, you're like, it's not as exciting, like that feeling and like the team being behind you. Like, I remember my freshman year, like it happened. My sister like pre-warned me that it's like the best feeling ever. I was like, whatever. And I like turned the corner. I was like almost in tears. I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Cause like that feeling will just like lift you throughout that race. Of how many like people are behind you in that event. Like, it's just amazing, like the community that gets behind you throughout swimming. So yeah, that's like the coolest feeling ever. One memory I have is, so Chris Plum was my coach in Stingray's group, I think that 13-14 group, and I remember, like, I was a very difficult swimmer. You can ask Chris Plum that; he would definitely vouch for that. Meaning, like, I felt like I went through a lot of coaches, so I would just be like, kind of give them a hard time per se. So
wanted them to earn that paycheck.
Yeah, exactly. So I remember Chris, and I was like, "Ugh, who's this newbie?" Like, whatever. And just at the end of my time, I forget how long it was. I can't like nail down the numbers, but I remember being like, in my head, being like, Chris is gonna be. He was so good from that age group. I was like, he's gonna be my high school coach one day. I just know it. And I remember sending him an email. And I literally told him that, and I thanked him and apologized for being hard on him. And I was like, one day you're going to be my high school coach because you're way too good. Like, you're so good. And then sure enough, my last 2 years, he was announced as the high school coach, and he still is, and he's kicking butt. So it's just really cool to see like such a great coach be like now where he should be at. So it's cool to see that, and how long he's been here really speaks to the program. So it's really cool to see Chris in that position.
Wonderful.
Yes, I think a lot of people in Carmel live really well. I'm not going to disagree with that, but I think that doesn't take away from how much work they're putting into their sport and how much the coaches are giving to all their swimmers and taking all that time. I can't imagine being a swim coach, like how much dedication you have to give each day and dealing with all these crazy attitudes like mine. So it's just all that goes into it. So I just don't think people realize, like, it just doesn't come easy winning a state or winning an event or making nationals. Like, you have to work for it.
Yeah.
And you can't deny like Carmel's excellence within that. So I think it's just kind of like a program, and Chris has found and others have found a way that works, and it's continuing to grow, and people are jumping on board. So it's cool to see kind of all of that fall into place, but people should realize like all those athletes are working their butt off there. And well deserving of whatever college they go to or whatever state cut, or even if it's not a state cut, like whatever time they took to improve, that's all them at the end of the day. So don't take away from that. So swimming gives you so many great friendships. Like, I still stay in touch with some of the girls on the team today and the guys, as well as like within college. Like, I think it's cool. Like, people always ask me like, were you in a sorority? And I was like, I definitely didn't have time for that. And like, I had swimming. Like, swimming was your group that you hung out with. And it's just like those kind of, it's cool because you have like in college, you have those instant friends per se, and it's nice to have. So I think it's nice to be a part of that. And I'm so glad I swam throughout my life. Will I swim again? Probably not. But I'm glad that I did it. Looking back, I have no regrets on swimming at Carmel, and I'm proud of swimming. And I think it kind of shows with the alumni group. And like, I think we had like when Carmel broke 30, I forget what it was, like the turnout of alumni was just kind of like chilling, because you don't see that at a lot of places, especially in a high school place. So it's really cool to see how many people feel probably the way I do about Carmel.
Yeah.